Welcome to 5 Star Weekly. Josef is a Centurion, and it's a mixed bag of results for Atlanta United recently, but are they on track to make the playoffs? We get into all that and more coming up. Welcome to the show, 5 Star Fam. I'm AJ, and this is Marc. And wherever it is you get your pods, subscribe, share, and leave us a good rating.
This segment is sponsored by Thinking Man Tavern, a cozy Decatur neighborhood pub. Grab a tasty beverage from a wide variety of selections and a plate of something delicious from the menu. To go, check out Thinking Man Tavern.
So welcome to a new format for the show. We're kind of testing things out a little bit and trying to make it a little less of a grind, especially for myself, which, it becomes very tough when we have 3 games in one match week. And kind of life is kind of getting pretty heavy at times, but I want to be able to, get this show out there for you guys, and it really very much is still a passion for myself and of course Marc. We just want to be able to streamline this a little bit more and make it a little bit more evergreen. But Marc, dude, welcome back to the show. Yeah, it's been a minute since we've chatted, but how are you, man? How are you feeling about soccer and Atlanta United nowadays? Yeah.
Good, man. I'm good. I've done a little traveling the last couple of weeks. Been kind of recharging batteries a little bit, reconnecting with nature. In terms of the team, well, at least Atlanta United, I feel okay. Optimistic, I would say. I think we can make the playoffs from here. I'm like 65% sure we'll make the playoffs. So
okay, so 3/4 sure, pretty much that we're going to. Okay, got you. I mean, where were you traveling, man? Like little world traveler here. It's,
I
awesome.
wish. I went up to the Cherokee Reservation in North Carolina.
Okay.
Visited a friend, did some hiking in like the Smoky Mountains, which highly recommend, especially in the fall. I mean, the weather was just perfect. I actually went the first weekend of fall, which I didn't even know that was the weekend when I planned it, but it worked out perfectly. So that was really nice. And then I was at Universal Studios most recently, so that was kicking it with some homies, being a kid again. Although I can't really do roller coasters. Like, I get motion sickness, so.
You didn't ride any?
I rode one, and then I rode some, like those 4D rides that, like, simulate the feeling, but you're not actually going anywhere, for the most part. So I did a few of those.
So the kiddie rides.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, am I wrong?
I tried, man. I tried. I literally, after doing one of those coasters, like a few flips and stuff, my stomach feels like it's been thrown all over the place. Like, I can't.
Yeah. And you were in enemy territory, Orlando, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess technically, so Universal is in Orlando, right? Because I think where we were staying was like outside of Orlando, so technically not. I did see, I'm pretty sure we drove past the field though. What do you call it? What are they calling it these days?
Exploria. Trash stadium. Yeah. Either way, even if it's outside of the stadium, then or outside of the area, then it's still much better than Orlando. So
Right.
No, that's that's good. Glad you got some R&R, man. But I think for Atlanta United, in terms of your temperature, 65%. I mean, that's like, us being right outside of the the playoff spaces right now in 8th, and of course we had just played Montreal, or CF Montreal, and it was very much of a 6-pointer a little bit that didn't go quite our way. A bit of a kind of, in terms of 2 of 3 of the last 3 matches, a bit of a bummer. Kind of lackluster in a lot of kind of areas, especially finishing, especially, well, one of the matches didn't have Josef Martinez. And then, you kind of essentially, you struggle to, I think, build a rhythm, and you see maybe fatigue showing up, or what do you think has been kind of why there's been a little bit of a malaise at the end of September, after we started September like really hot, kind of looking like a 2017 type of September where we had a lot of home games in a row, like every 2 or 3 days we were playing, and we were playing really, really well. Like, what do you think maybe led to that malaise?
I think fatigue is definitely a factor. I mean, I'm looking at it now. We only have 6 games left in the season. It's been a long season. We're almost at the end. So this is pretty much the business end. I mean, some of these guys would have had international duty as well. And so I think definitely a bit of a malaise. I think also when you're on the outside looking in for most of the season, like Atlanta United have been, and you kind of hit this point in the season where there's just a lot of urgency, and you feel like you need every win and every point you can get. I think that probably there's an emotional effect to that as well, and so it's just it's difficult to maintain over that. I mean, that level of consistency in general is difficult to maintain, but I think especially when you're grinding out a lot of results, which I think Atlanta United have been. The coach is still new. Some of the players are still new, so there are still things that you're trying to figure out on the fly. Even though most of it, I think, has gone in terms of those adjustment periods. I think it's gone well for the most part so far. I do think that, we have to expect, bump in the road here or there. So, I mean, I think it's just, that's probably what it, just can't win them all, really. And
especially, that kind of away form of ours is a bit dire,
right.
And definitely, I mean, at home we looked a lot better now. I think we weren't really protecting our house early on in the season. Right. But kind of lately it's obviously looked a lot better. And with that win against Miami, of course, Josef Martinez scored his 100th goal. And so, of course, 100 goals in 125 games in all competitions is just amazing. He's the fastest to do it in MLS ever. I mean, we got to talk about, not surprising whatsoever. But we got to talk about Josef Martinez and just, we've talked about the hashtag building the statue. We've talked about, Josef Martinez, just how prolific he is. But, I got to ask, and you probably know what's coming. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're not ready. But what's your favorite Josef Martinez goal of those 100? I mean, there's a lot to choose from, obviously. There's his first goal, against Minnesota United. There's the record breaker against Orlando. I'm just stalling until you can figure out maybe what what yours is. But, there's maybe the cap off to the hat trick that breaks the record. There's maybe San Jose Earthquakes, that thriller out west where, we go from down 3-1 to winning 4-3. It's just
gee, that last one, somehow I've forgotten it. I mean, there's just so many. I think as much as I want to say the record breaker, which just truly an epic goal for so many reasons. And the record breaker versus Orlando, because we know Josef has like multiple records.
Yeah, right. Because technically this 100th is a record breaker too. So
right, exactly. I think it's the goal in the MLS Cup for me. It was just so quintessential Josef Martinez. I mean, pouncing on that opportunity. Rounding the keeper, scoring from a tight angle, and I mean, that was a tough game up until that point. It was late in the first half. There really weren't very many chances for Atlanta. You could argue that it was more Portland's game at that point in terms of how that game was playing out, and then Josef just comes up with that moment, and I mean, it it was just such a privilege to be there. You know, like I think about that playoff run a lot. You know, it was really a magical time. And so yeah,
I got chills. I just literally got chills thinking about it. I mean, really, honestly, such a good time. And you know, obviously it has a lot of near and dear moments, not only to the fans and city of Atlanta, but I think personally as well. I think for me, obviously, with my late girlfriend, she was able to be on the field. She was able to pretty much like snap photos and videos of Josef Martinez like up close. It was amazing in that regard, and then the whole experience, even though leading up to it was bitterly cold, and also like being outside of the bends, like having to walk really far from parking. We actually forgot to buy parking for the game, and had to park like hella far. And then so when we were doing the fan cams, like you guys were all wondering where the hell we were, and we were just like, about that. We were having to walk all the way back to the car and then back to where we were recording fan cams at that moment. But just beautiful moments, and like tears in my eyes and tears in I think a lot of people's eyes, of course, just at kind of breaking that duck. I think in terms of this city, even though yes, Mark, you're not maybe necessarily from here in that sense, so maybe you don't feel it completely in terms of all Atlanta sports. He is a Washington fan for other sports, but is that incorrect?
Like this, no, it is. Although I will contend, I make it a point to say I'm not a Washington football team fan. So
hard to be in general, but especially with that
obviously
generic,
not a DC United fan.
Right. Obviously with that generic ass name, but I'm sure they, with the whole like Redskins thing and all that anyway, like they're gonna lose a lot of fans that way. But I think with the new name, I don't think they're gaining any fans either. So it's silly. But either way, and in terms of Atlanta United and some of their players during the international break, there was some fun things in terms of Mikey Ambrose had a birthday, and a whole bunch of them hung out at a restaurant. I believe, I'm trying to remember exactly which one it was, but the food looked good, and I was like, oh, hey, also Emerson Hyndman, I think, made a appearance, so I was like, he's still alive. And also the tradition of getting cake in the face. Alan Franco also got cake in the face as well. But of course, it's the international break for a reason, and Miles Robinson and George Bello played for the U.S. men's national team. Ronald Hernandez played for Venezuela, and Josef Martinez didn't take part with Venezuela. The reason was that he pretty much was taking a break for rest for his knee, and obviously, he very much needed it anyway. I mean, it's been a long season. It's been start and stop for him, but definitely, seeing George Bello get to take part, was good, even though it was a loss. I think was 1-0 Panama.
1-0, yeah.
So not a banner game for the U.S. men's national team. Kind of embarrassing, probably, actually, but
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and then also I think a little bit of a snooze fest by all accounts. So.
Oh, I literally fell asleep. Yeah, actually, I did see the goal, and you see this chair I'm sitting in. It's so comfortable, and like you can't really tell, but like I sink into it a little bit. So like, under the right circumstances, I will pass out, and I did during that match. But I woke up and saw they didn't score, so I literally did not miss anything.
Clearly. And unfortunately, it's that. But and then so the standings, I think, U.S. men's national team is in second in terms of behind Mexico. in those standings in the kind of international tournament wise there, but in terms of the standings rather. But yeah, I mean, Atlanta United, are feeling refreshed though. Apparently, through this international break. I think Josef Martinez was seen somewhere tropical, and then we're filming this on a Tuesday. He was also at the Atlanta Braves game, in which they're playing the Brewers right now, and so go Braves personally for me. But I'm sure everyone, he's a Nationals fan, so that's why I mentioned it. Yeah. Bitter rivals here in a way, but it's all in fun in a way. But so with that also there's a match this weekend on Saturday against Toronto FC. Toronto FC, of course, not doing terribly well at all. But into the depths. But not to be outdone by FC Cincy, of course. It's they will probably take home that wooden spoon, but Toronto is definitely fighting them for it a little bit, doing a little bit better of late. But also, Josef Martinez's good buddy Jefferson Soltero, brought in mid-season. Didn't really help them all that much. Yeah, they fired Chris Armas. Didn't really help them all that much. But what are you looking forward to this weekend? With that matchup, because obviously, this is a must-win game for us. Even though it's at BMO Field, away game, but it's a team that can be had for the taking. Don't you think?
In theory, yes. I do think that Toronto's a bit of a bogey team. It's just, and at Toronto, it's just one of those venues that Atlanta historically has had very little success. So I would love a win this weekend. I can't say, I wouldn't go as far as to say I'm expecting one. I'm kind of looking at Toronto's form here. They've won 4 out of their last 5. One of those games is a Canadian Championship game, but the other 4 games were versus MLS competition. They beat Nashville in recent weeks. I believe Colorado's a playoff team, and they drew with them. So I definitely don't think it'll be easy for Atlanta United this weekend. I definitely see your point that, yes, I mean, Toronto's obviously not having the best season. And if you're a team that wants to make the playoffs, you need to beat those teams that are definitely not going to make the playoffs. But it doesn't always play out that way. So would love a win, but also would not be surprised if we drop points this weekend.
Yeah, and so hopefully it's not 3 points, maybe at most 2 points. But
right.
Especially with our form on the road, it's kind of a crapshoot. I agree, but it's still, if we want to make the playoffs, it's a game we must win, in my opinion. In terms of Toronto at home, they've won their last 3 matches, so it will be tough too. And then also, it might kind of have a lot of goals in this. I feel like, because there have been. Over 2.5 goals scored in 5 of Toronto's last 6 home games. So, that does kind of bode well for at least entertainment-wise. Because lately, we've not scored a ton of goals. So hopefully it'll be a little leaky at the back for Toronto. I think, we can kind of loosely maybe give our predictions on who you think is going to start. I'll go ahead and say, of course, Goose. I think Alan Franco. I think Anton Walks, of course. But I think George Campbell might start because Miles Robinson, being away on international duty, it's a lot. Especially with all that travel, especially with Gonzalo Pineda recently limiting his minutes, that type of thing, giving him a rest. George Campbell hasn't really played on the road quite yet a ton, maybe in terms of a start, I believe. So, maybe George Campbell for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a good call. Yeah, because Miles Robinson is so heavily involved with the national team at this point, which I mean, like, and I want him to get all his flowers. Like, I'm thrilled to see him getting all this playing time. I kind of hope that this is his last season, full season with Atlanta United, because I hope he gets a chance in Europe. But yeah, right now I think it would be smart to rest him, especially if you do want to make a deep playoff run. Obviously, it's kind of hard to plan for a playoff run without actually being in the playoffs, but you got to use the squad. So I would be, and I think George Campbell has been very solid in the times that I've seen him. Not really shy of the ball. Generally good positioning. Obviously he's a big boy, so I would be comfortable with him starting in Toronto.
Yeah, agreed. And then onto the wing backs. Of course, Brooks Lennon seems to be the guy who's getting the nod, of course, at right wing back a lot. Would you start George Bello?
I would, unless he plays tomorrow, but I think Bello hasn't been quite as involved with the national team. So I think, unless he's hurt or something, if he's good to go, I'd say play him.
I'm a bit iffy on it. I mean, he did play last week, and then in terms of, if he does play this week, well, yeah, I think maybe Jake Mulroney probably gets the nod. And, if not, if he doesn't play, then okay. Of course, George Bello should be, the starter there. Into midfield, I mean, are we going to be really aggressive and, play more attacking, or are we going to be a little bit more defensive? And I think, for me, I think Sosa should start, and next to Mateus Asetu. But what do you think?
Well, I think next to Moreno. I think I would start Moreno and Sosa in midfield. But yeah, I definitely think we need at least one defensive midfielder in there, because Toronto is interesting because, like, on paper they have good players. It's just
they have good
really,
attacking players.
Yeah, good. That's a good point. Exactly. So, but it is like confounding that they are as bad as they are, because they definitely have players that can hurt us. So, I think Sosa has to start. I think I would go with Moreno though.
Okay. I mean, that's the thing. I think Moreno probably slightly has more defensive ability than Mateus Asetu. So yeah, you're probably, I agree with you there a bit. But then is it also, do we have enough attacking off the bench? And so that's kind of where I'm thinking as well. If if we need a goal, that type of thing. And so for me, like, I would still start Moreno kind of as that 10, and I think, I don't know, for you, who would be in the 10, or maybe on wing positions? What do you think?
For Moreno?
Whomever. Yeah. If you start Moreno, but I think Moreno is going to be in midfield. But yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I do too. So if we're looking at the forward positions, I think. So what's the deal actually with Josef? Like, do you think he's going to play this weekend?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, do we save him a little bit as well? It's tough. I mean, like,
because we have a midweek game next week, don't we?
Exactly. And so, if he's at home, but that's the thing, like, our away form scoring wise is dire. Like, which one do you choose? I mean, for me, I'm gonna wait until you say your thing, and then I'll explain why.
All right. So I'm thinking. I didn't consider Josef not playing before. So I'm actually gonna go back and say Hasetu starts in midfield, and then I'll do Barco, Araujo, and Moreno up top.
Gotcha. Yep. And so it's pretty much, that for me as well. It's a false 9 again. I mean, even though we didn't really score last match, kind of pretty much like that. But I think, against a slightly easier team in that sense, even though with the form, agreed. But, I think it's a team that we can slice open. So, it's that. I mean, Araujo and Barco, will be that spearhead up top, and then Moreno as the 10. and then maybe Josef Martinez can come off the bench,
Right.
and then we'll have some firepower in that sense. But yeah, I mean, if Josef starts, that'd be fantastic. Maybe get him off in the 60th minute. Hopefully, we have scored a couple times since then, and they haven't. Hopefully, but
Right.
but yeah, and then maybe Aruju does come on afterwards or something. But yeah. So guys, let us know what you think. What the starting 11 could look like, and would you start Josef? Yeah, let us know in those comments below. But yeah, let's get into that score prediction then. Mark, what do you think?
I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to say 2-1 Atlanta United. I think with the 2 weeks off, I think maybe Pineda has gotten a chance to get some more ideas across. And I think that we'll see a slightly improved performance. So I think we get the win on the road.
Okay. Yeah. You said 2-1, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. It's about what the goals probably, what the predictions say. I'm not as optimistic, I think, but I think it's 1-1. I think both teams are kind of going to struggle a little bit to score, and then the second half, with the fatigue, with a little bit of, kind of coming back from the international break, a little bit of kind of getting back into the swing of things. It might not just be, just gangbusters in terms of goals, but yeah, 1-1 for me. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. What's your score prediction? And yeah, obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but we'll be doing this kind of same format, trying it out for a while. Let us know what you guys think of it. Yeah, next week we will have another guest, and we'll catch up with him and see how he's feeling about the Atlanta United season. But guys, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. For Mark, I'm AJ. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.